everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're here, welcome. My name is 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃 for those who don't know me, and on this channel, I aim to help you improve your quality of life, whether it is personally, professionally, or academically. So the topic of today's video is to stop stalking their profile on social media. In this context, I am referring to people that either you used to be friends with and you are no longer friends with, you ended, let's say, on a very bad note, or an ex, somebody that you used to date, and you're no longer on speaking terms. You had a breakup, whether it was bad or good or amicable, that really doesn't matter for the context, but overall, I'm referring to a breakup, and you are out of each other's lives. Both of you are not following the other on social media. However, you find yourself limmering by sometimes or oftentimes going to their profile for lengthy periods of time to see what they're up to, who they're interacting with, who they're posting stories with, what events they're going to, what trips they've taken, who they're dating, who they're friends with. And mind you, when I'm talking about lengthy periods of time, I'm not referring to those moments where you are looking at somebody's profile. Let's say this person used to be your friend, and just out of curiosity, you happen to fall on their profile and you stay there and you are reminiscing the good old days where you used to be friends with this person and you're wondering what they're up to, and looking at their profile can last between, let's say, 5 minutes to max maybe 8. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm referring to those patterns of behavior where you constantly find yourself going to see a person's profile, whether it's a friend or an ex or an old friend, sorry, and you are staying on their profile for lengthy periods of times, like between 30 minutes to an hour on their profile. And you're no longer talking to this person and vice versa. They're not in your life and vice versa. The reason why I think, and this is an unpopular opinion, the reason why I think we need to stop looking at people's profile, especially people that we're no longer in a relationship with or friends with, is because you are giving time to somebody out of your precious life by looking at what they're doing. And this is somebody that does not care about you, or they're making a conscious effort every single day of their life to keep you out of their life, right? And they're not worried about what you're doing. They're not worried about whether, like, the next day something happens to you. They're not going to be the first person that people will call if something happens to you in a moment of emergency. It's going to be people that are readily in your life that care about you. So, the thing that I noticed about social media, and when I'm talking about social media, I'm referring to Instagram specifically, it's that it has enabled our society to normalize compulsive and unhealthy behavior that leads us to develop tendencies and patterns that are not healthy for us in the long run. So rather than investing that time that you're using to look or stalk at that person's profile for a very long period of time, rather than investing that time into yourself by, let's say, pouring into a hobby or building connections or going out more, or if you don't like going out, just doing a little activity at home, like maybe reading a book or focusing on your career or school. Rather than investing that time, you are giving time to somebody, free, precious time. And I want to say that this is not something that we we should encourage as a society. I think that we should encourage each other to really focus and pour that energy back into ourselves so that we can grow in a healthy way. Now, for some of you may be arguing, Loni me, I'm a student. Let's say, for example, you're a student and I can study fine. I have good grades and I still have good grades and I still get to look at this person's profile. It doesn't affect my career, it doesn't affect my study routine. Or if, let's say, you're working and you're somebody that's you perform well at your job, you may be arguing, yeah, like stalking this person's profile doesn't really affect my work performance, it doesn't affect anything that I do. While I want to say that, okay, maybe that may be the case for you in this context, I think there's something to be said about things that progress and patterns of behaviors that we develop and we normalize. And the more we compile this type of patterns on the long run and we make micro habits out of them, they end up compiling into bigger patterns in the future that can be very hard to overcome, right? So maybe what for you looks like an innocent stalking of somebody's profile that you're doing and you're just like, oh, whatever. At the end of the day, like social media, it's accessible to all. I can look at anybody's profile. Who cares? While you may argue that, I want to say that you something that you're not aware of can end up compiling into something bigger that will be hard for you to overcome in your future. So some of the most successful people of our generation, like billionaires and millionaires, they understand the value of time, and they understand that every second, every minute that passes is an opportunity for them that brings them closer to an innovative idea that they get to implement, let's say by enhancing a product, the performance of a product, or enhancing the delivery of services that they have founded, which led them to become the successful people that they are. So if you're somebody that's interested in becoming a successful person and you struggle with this pattern of stalking people's profile on social media, staying on social media for lengthy periods of time, and you want to stop this pattern of behavior and you want to be successful, then look at the patterns of behavior that successful people do on their day to day, and it will really help to help you to change your mindset so you can see that, wow, like if I want to get closer to a goal and if I want to pour into myself more, I have to not give time to people that don't care about me. And I'm telling you, this is very powerful. It doesn't happen overnight. I understand that it's something that's super hard, especially if it's a pattern that you've developed for months or years. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's something that you can overcome with the mindset shift that you want to implement in your life, right? And the thing about like looking at people's profiles that you're no longer talking to, that are people that are no longer in your life, is a form of self-betrayal, because you are constantly putting yourself in the past, constantly thinking about the past, thinking about what went wrong, and you're replaying events in your mind over and over again, and it's not helping you to be present and to move forward in your life, right? So if you're somebody that you recognize this behavior in yourself of looking at people's profile, stalking their profile, and you want to change this pattern of behavior towards shifting that attention that you give to people that are no longer in your life towards yourself, then you've come to the right place. And I have a couple of tips that I would like to share with you to help you get through this process. So the first tip that I can give is to journal. Now, I know it sounds cliche, and I know this is something you've probably already heard about before, But what I'm talking about when I mean journaling is that if this is somebody that you're stalking and you're no longer on speaking terms with, there's a lot of residues of unaddressed emotions that you have suppressed for so long. It could be years, it could have been months, it could have been maybe weeks. And these are residues of emotions that are stored up in your body, right? That you haven't vocalized, that you haven't brought out yet. By journaling, and when I'm talking about journaling, I mean writing a letter to this person. And by the way, it's a letter that you will never get to send them. They don't have to ever see it. You don't have to ever share it with people around you. It's just a letter that you will never send them. But in this letter, you address them. You say dear X in their name, and then you write all the emotions, all the hurts, all the pain you feel about the way in which you both fell off and you're no longer in each other's lives. And take your time. Don't interrupt your thought flow. Don't judge your thoughts. If you feel hurt that, let's say it's an ex and you're a guy and this girl is dating a new guy, or if you're a girl, this guy that you used to date, you're no longer on speaking terms with, and he's dating this new girl, you can address it. You can say, I can't believe in this letter. You can say, I can't believe you're dating somebody new. I can't believe it took you less than a few weeks or days to move on, and I feel hurt, I feel betrayed. You can just every emotion that you have stored up in your body and your mind, write it all out. Let it all go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. And when you do this, it really, really helps you to kind of like externalize the stored up emotions that you have within. And it helps you to put it on paper so that it gives you that release. Because maybe for some of you, you don't have anybody to talk to. Maybe you have friends, but you think it would be embarrassing to share with them that you're looking at this person's profile and they're no longer in your life and you ended up on bad terms, but for some reason you can't seem to let them go and you still think about them for lengthy periods of time in your life. So this is something that I recommend. Journaling to me is one of my go-to practices. It has truly been a gift to do. It helps my mental health tremendously, and it has helped me get through some of the really darkest times of my life. So I recommend journaling 1000%. Tip number 2 is to cultivate this self-love and self-discipline. So when you are looking at somebody's profile for a lengthy period of time, like I said, circling back to what I said, it's a form of self-betrayal. And we want to be able to be in a state of mind where we love ourselves and we want to pour into ourselves so that we no longer give people that are not in our life time that of our life that they don't need, right? So self-love can be, pouring into a hobby. It could be also networking, building new connections, letting go and loving yourself enough to say, I deserve more than this. If this person is not in my life, it's for a reason, and I deserve to have new people in my life that will pour into me and that will love me unconditionally the same way I will love them. That is something I recommend. Another tip is to take breaks from social media. So, mind you, social media can enable us to stay on it for so long, for lengthy periods of time that are really unhealthy and that don't help us get things done. So I recommend taking long breaks from social media. If you're somebody that okay, like going on the social media it enables me to stalk their profile and I can't seem to let it go, then put that boundary within yourself. Another tip number 4, I think we're on the fourth tip. Another tip that I want to give you is to cultivate setting boundaries with the app. So let's say you and this person that used to be your ex, or they used to be your friends and you're no longer on speaking terms. Let's say this person, you're not following their profile and vice versa. But for some reason, on your list of followers, there are people that you follow that are still in contact with them, and they constantly post videos, stories, post about this person, and that enables you to have curiosity to see what this person is up to that you're no longer on speaking terms with and you're no longer following. So if you know that you are there are kind of like the environment enables you to develop this pattern of behavior of stalking, then cut it from the root. You can unfollow the mutual friend that constantly reminds you of this person that you want to forget and put in your past, right? This is a boundary you can set for yourself, and it's super helpful to do that. Um, and but mind you, I think we also live in a generation where people can get very sensitive and defensive and take things really personally when they are unfollowed. But for the most part, it's nothing to take personal. Sometimes people don't want to see content. They are no longer in communication with people that, let's say, they used to go in high school with, and they no longer want to see their content. It doesn't mean they hate the person. It just means it's for their peace of mind and mental health. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think we live in a society where social media has amplified our egos to the point where we think that we're entitled to have people follow us when it's not really the case. So please don't be afraid to like unfollow people that constantly remind you of this person that used to be in your life that you're no longer friends with. I've done that before. Like when I used to have Instagram, I would literally remove people that constantly reminded me of people in my past that I don't want to remember. Right? I wish them well. You wish them well, but you don't constantly want to be reminded of what they're up to, especially if you are no longer in their life and vice versa. And another setting another boundary can look like, let's say, maybe literally you don't have followers that remind you of your ex or an ex friend, but you have friends, with air quotes, that purposely make it their life's mission to send you content about this person that you don't need to know, right? So let's say this friend is following the other friend or the ex friend that you're no longer talking to, or this person is following your ex, right? But for some reason, they want to make it their life mission to send you updates about their life on private message when you didn't even ask for it. Setting up a boundary can look like saying, hey, I acknowledge you sent me this post about this person. I acknowledge, let's say it's a post about their graduation. I acknowledge you sent that to me. But this person, while I do wish them nothing but the best, please don't send me their content anymore, because it doesn't help me to move on with my life. You can set that boundary. And if they were truly your friend, I don't really think it's appropriate for them to send you post about somebody that with whom you're no longer on speaking terms with, and you ended things on a very sour note. I don't think that is your friend, but that's a topic for another day. So this is to sum up my video. If you made it till the end, thank you. I do hope that you are able to, I hope this video helped and you're not alone. This is a pattern that we have to address, and I think that if we normalize it, it will be really hard for us to overcome in our future. So all the best of luck, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.